Okay, this might be a weird comment for this video, but if you look at the box office, you will notice that the Superman 2025 reboot has generated more than $470 million in revenue. Then, if you go watch Fantastic Four First Steps, I strongly believe that you can say that superhero films are not dead, and frankly, I'm glad. Of course, the amount of money that I just mentioned pales in comparison to other superhero films like Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War, but we're still talking about healthy numbers. And there's no real way to tell how the new Fantastic Four movie will do at the box office, but I have a feeling that it's going to perform pretty well. And yes, if this is not the case, you can come back to this video and leave a comment making fun of me. But why do I say that this movie will have at least a decent performance in terms of numbers and revenue? Well, because we have a story about superheroes that feel like real people. The characters are well-rounded, and the script is clever enough to effectively intertwine their personal dynamics with their responsibilities as superheroes. You're also able to appreciate the similarities and differences between each of the protagonists. You see Mr. Fantastic trying to think of every possibility to create a plan to save the world, Invisible Woman being arguably the most powerful of the bunch and doing everything she can to protect her family, The Thing being just a big softie but willing to do what it takes to save the day, and who also struggles to accept his newly acquired physical appearance, and Human Torch as the comedic relief who's willing to sacrifice himself. All of them have a moment to shine, and you get to know them as the story unfolds. I also really enjoyed how Galactus is portrayed because he actually looks like a gigantic character, not like a weird cloud from outer space. However, I would have appreciated a bit more backstory of him just to understand his motivations. This is what happens, for example, with Silver Surfer. We see her backstory and how her origins as Silver Surfer determine her actions in the present. But another of the positive things that stood out to me was the world building in this movie. This is because this universe is like retro-futuristic, which is a tribute to the decade when Jack Kirby and Stan Lee came up with the Fantastic Four. And in general, the art design really clicks. For example, their costumes, the technology used, and the color palette just make sense. If I had any complaints, I would say that Reed Richards doesn't seem to be that elastic. It is as if the writers knew that his powers were kind of funny, so they try to hide them a bit. Also, I know I said that we have pretty well-rounded characters, however, I would have enjoyed seeing them like outside their family and superhero dynamics. I don't know, maybe just 15 more minutes of runtime would have worked. Additionally, maybe a bit more action scenes, but the way they solved the problem in the end was pretty smart and convenient for the writers. Not in a bad way, but if you watched the movie already, you know what I mean. This is why I'm giving this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Great movie from Marvel, but we can still see some areas of improvement. But hey, if you want to talk spoilers, stay tuned for my spoiler review coming in the next few days. Do you agree with me? Or do you give it a higher or lower score? Comment below and don't forget to like, subscribe, and for now, I'm out.